Welcome to the Home Show with Adam Black of First Commercial Bank and Rich Price. That's me with Keller Williams, a real estate agent. Adam is a loan originator, mortgage extraordinaire. He's like a wizard with the mortgages. So thanks for joining us today. Thanks for being a part of the community that we're trying to build here as we try to help educate home buyers and home sellers about what it takes to be successful in today's real estate market. And today we're going to be jumping in with a big topic about how you can be successful today if you're a home buyer. We're going to be going through a framework that we've come up with. It's not rocket science, but it's 4 questions that home buyers need to be asking right now. So Adam, why do home buyers need to be asking great questions to start?
So great question. Buyer's remorse. That's one thing you don't want to come out the other side of the home buying experience with. Becoming house poor. Man, nobody wants to, roll up into their driveway and have a lump in their stomach every month. And then just feelings that they've missed out on what they really wanted. We just want to make this a stress-free process, but put people in the best position we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to jump right into it. The first question that we're going to ask when we're working with a home buyer is why. This is the question of motivation. Why do you want to buy a house? There's a million different reasons why you could be interested in making a purchase, but you want to go through a few questions to figure out really what's the driver for you when it comes down to what's important in the home buying process. Is your current place too small? Are you renting and tired of renting? Are you trying to move up in social status? And one of the questions that we like to at least try and get a sense of from the people we work with is, are you trying to keep up with the Joneses? Which is, everybody's got different reasons, and we're not going to judge anybody for what they're trying to do. But we also recognize that if you're coming into this process with maybe not the best motives, you can set yourself up for failure in the future.
Right. We want this to fit into your financial needs, both short-term and long-term. And that's a big thing, is not getting caught up into the vanity or the ego of buying a new home, and making sure that you buy what you need to buy.
Yeah, absolutely. Because like you mentioned when we started, the idea of driving up to the house and you have anxiety rather than feeling like this is a place of refuge, it's a place of safety, it's where I go to get restored. Instead, it's, man, I'm one missed paycheck away from things going really bad.
Yeah. We talk about that a lot when we're talking to clients, is just trying to drill down and talk about not what we can get you approved for, but what you need to be approved for. And that's a very big thing, is really starting out at the very top, at the tip of it, is starting out with a budget and a wants and needs list. And I think that wants and needs list on y'all's side is as important as anything, because a lot of people just don't think about it. They go out at roughshod and they think, okay, I just need 4 bedroom and 3 baths. Well, there's a lot goes into that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. There's, extra costs that go along with every extra square foot you have in the house, every additional room you have in the house. So you've got to figure out, what is your real motivation? Why do you want to buy a house? We think home ownership is great. It's something that you should do. It's for the vast majority of people, when we talked about this before, for most people, it's going to be the way to build wealth over the course of your life. And so we think buying a home is great, but we want to help you get clarity around why you want to buy a house.
So we've kind of covered the why. You mentioned the second question. The second question is going to be what? So when we say what are we talking about?
We're talking about lifestyle features. What are the things you want in a house? What are the specific needs that you have for, do you need a playroom for kids? Do you want an art studio in your house? Do you want 4 bedrooms or 3 bedrooms? Do you want a big yard? What are the specific features from a lifestyle standpoint, the things that really bring you a lot of joy, that are important to the way that you operate in your day-to-day existence, that's going to be the best fit for the house you buy. And so getting clarity around what is important to you in home features, that's going to be a big part of the question. Do you want a newer home? Do you want an older home that's got more character? Yeah. There are a lot of things to consider in that, and they all have different impacts on the long-term relationship you have with your home as you own it, what things are going to cost to repair. If you're going to have an older home, you're most likely going to have other repair costs, but you might be able to get it for cheaper per square foot. So there's trade-offs on that. So getting some clarity around what you really want in a home.
So when you're working with a client, and this is just off the cuff, if I hit you with this, please don't hit me. Are you talking about, negotiables, non-negotiables, and then something in between?
Yeah. And so usually when I'm working with a client, when we really sit down, we'll make a list of, okay, these are the non-negotiables. That list usually needs to be pretty short. If that list has 8, 9, or 10 things, the more you add to that list, the less likely it is you're going to be able to find a home that really fits all those needs. So having real good clarity around what are those non-negotiables. And then you've got, these are things we'd like to have, but are not necessarily deal killers for us. Like, okay, we say we want 2,600 square feet, but we found a house that has 2,400 square feet, and it has a lot of the other things that we really want. So there's some movement around some of those issues. And then the third one is like, okay, blue sky dreaming. It would be great if we had these things. By the way, we're recording at Blue Sky Studios today, which is really great.
I saw you slip that in.
Yeah. So, blue sky, hey, we get everything we want. These would be awesome if we had it, but we could totally live without them.
Okay.
Yeah. So the getting clarity around the what's.
School zones.
Yeah.
Huge thing to a lot of people.
Totally.
Especially here in the South where we got great public schools and we're kind of split. We have some really good private schools, but we have some good great public schools as well. So I guess that's a big deal too.
It is.
Making sure.
Yeah, which really naturally feeds into the next question of where do you want to buy? Figuring out once you have some idea about like, hey, I know my why, I know my motivation, I know what I'm looking for in a house. Where do I want to live around town? So, you may find exactly the house you want. It's got everything you want, but it's in the wrong part of town. It's the wrong school district. Or you might find a place across town that has the exact same amenities, same features, but taxes are significantly higher in that area. So getting clarity around where you want to live, commute time, things to factor in like that. So where, it's a lot of people want to start with where do we want to live, but in my opinion, I think it's better to have it a little further down the list once you get real clarity around what it is you're really looking for.
Okay. So what you're saying is determine the product and then determine the place. Is that kind of what you're getting at?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times we tend to want to say, okay, this is the area I want to live in. And we may have an idealized version of that place in mind, and we haven't really thought through the specifics. And so if you get clarity and a vision around the specifics first, there is a possibility that one, there may be more places that fit your needs than you potentially realized, or it may be exactly where you want it to be. But I think having real good clarity around what you really want in a home will help you find a place where you're going to be really happy long-term. So location, most of the time should not necessarily, it's like the tail wagging the dog, in my opinion. So I think the process is a little different to go through.
And that would make sense because I can't tell you how many times I've had people moving from out of town and they're like, we want to be in X. Let's say we want to be in Jackson. But then they get here and they start looking at homes, and the next thing you know, they're out in the suburbs in Madison or Flowood. And I guess that's what it is they're looking at houses online and they're determining, that's the area they want to be in.
Yeah.
But then they get here and really kind of figure something out differently.
Yeah. There's really no price you can put on having clarity first before you enter the process.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
So number 3 question is where. So then that leads us into number 4, and that's the when. I guess I probably have a little bit in this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, a lot of times with us, we're going to make sure that we're sitting down with you before you're even looking at a home and going through a budget, establishing that budget, establishing your short-term and long-term needs financially. And what I mean by that is maybe you've got some loans that are going to come off over the next 6 or 8 months, car loans or something. Okay, well, then we're going to play into that, and maybe you can afford a little bit more house now. That's going to fit into your budget later. Or maybe you've got some expenses coming up. Maybe you got kids going to college. Then we need to look at something else, because those are expenses that are coming. So we really want to make sure that we get some clarity with you, both short-term and long-term again. And then look at different loan products. That's a big thing right now. Unfortunately, rates are higher, and we're having to get creative with financing. And when I say creative, I just mean that we're just looking for every available option to find something that best fits you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, the question that a lot of people says, when should I get into the market? Everybody wants to try and time the market to where they're going to be able to pay the least or sell for the most. And everyone's always looking for when is the best time. And there is no best time to buy or sell. It drives me nuts. I think we've talked about this before on a previous episode. People say it's always a great time to buy or sell real estate. Sure. Yeah.
For somebody it is.
Generally it is. It's not always a great time for you to buy or sell real estate. It really depends on once you have clarity around the first three questions. Why am I doing this? What am I looking for? Where am I looking? When those things have clarity and you can say, all right, based on what I can afford, my income, where I am financially, can support the things that I want to accomplish. It's going to help you move closer to your goals. It's going to help you have a lot more peace of mind around the purchasing process. You're going to be able to get into that house and not go, man, I mistimed this. You're going to have just so much more joy, I think, in your home, in the process, and you're going to feel really great on the other side of the decision. So the question of when to time the market, it's never perfect and it's never bad necessarily. It's just what can your financial picture support based on the goals, dreams, aspirations, and wants that you have as a home owner and a home buyer.
All right, so we have narrowed down the why, the what, the where, and the when. What's the bonus question of
who?
Okay.
So when you engage in the home buying process or home selling process, you really want a highly skilled team of professionals to help walk you through what is most likely the most expensive purchase or sale that you're ever going to make. And so having people who spend time honing their skills in the industry is really important. And so we're very fortunate that we've both spent a lot of time working on our skills. We're both very good at what we do, but we're also connected to a really huge network of people who, in our opinion, and why we've chosen to partner with each of them, because they're at the top of their game and they're going to help you make the most of this process. They're going to help you, like we talked about before, avoid the pitfalls. You're not going to stumble towards success. You're going to be able to walk confidently towards success in this process and making the purchase or making the sale. And so we really believe that having a team around you rather than trying to do this on your own is going to be the way to move forward. People talk about if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And that's the way we want to approach this.
Yeah, and let's talk about that a minute. You've got your realtor, obviously, your lender, which is the most important person in the whole process, I believe, personally. But then you also have the contributing players there. You've got closing attorneys. You've got inspectors. Your appraisers are going to be people that are within our network, but they've still been vetted by us. There's a lot of moving parts to this, and it really helps when you've got the local knowledge. We've worked with these guys for years, me 20 years now. And we know the ins and outs of this, and we know the people that are going to do good jobs, and we know the people are going to do great jobs. And we want to work with the people who are doing great jobs.
Yeah. That's been one of the things that I've enjoyed the most is being able to, one, work with some of these really high quality professionals, but also learn from them. I've learned a ton, and I feel like I get better when I get to be around these people. So I think that's one of the things that is really important for any consumer who wants to get into this process is making sure that you've got a team around you that's going to lift you up. That look, we're not the heroes in this journey. You're the hero in this journey. We want to help you accomplish your quest. And, that quest for you is going to be finding the house that you love. So that's really important to us.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that leads us to what's going on in the market.
Yeah. Local market update. Yeah. What's happening with their interest rates?
Man, I was hoping you wouldn't make me go first. Rates haven't been nice to us in March.
Yeah.
2024 is going to be an odd year. We came into it with a set of expectations that have already been blown, if I'm honest. A lot of your analysts just really don't know what's going to happen. We're in an election year, so anything can happen. I really think we're going to be mid-year before we can make any solid predictions. Rates have trickled up some, still not as high as they were in October of last year or October of the previous year. So we're still in a great spot. Again, we're looking for options. We're looking for ways to save you money. We're looking for ways to help you get into the house you want within your budget. So there's a lot of that. What rates are going to do between now and the time we film this next month, I'll let you know next month.
Yeah.
It's just crazy right now.
Yeah, rates have felt like, when we come into this time of year, we'll get a little bit of a warm up in the temperature, and people call that fool's spring. It felt like that's what rates have done over the last couple of months. It's like, oh yeah, things are getting better. And then like now we went the way that none of us really want to go. It got a little cold in the rate market. And so it's like a nice little head fake from the interest rates.
And I will say this for people that are potential sellers, and I'll let you get into this more. The general public is not reacting as negatively to rates climbing as they did last year. So I think everybody is starting to realize, hey, this is the norm. If it fits into what we're doing, like you said, there's no right time or wrong time to buy a house. Well, there always is. You just got to find it.
Yeah.
So it's finding that right time for you to buy a home. And if rates are higher, then they just are if it's the right house, and as long as it fits in your budget, that's okay.
Yeah. I mean, it really, at the end of the day, it's like, is this comfortable for your lifestyle on a month-to-month basis? We talked about at lunch. I mean, we're monthly purchase buyers.
Everybody is.
Yeah.
Whether they want to admit it or not, we're all payment buyers.
Yeah. It'd be ideal if we all just pay cash for everything, but
not for me.
No. Okay. Yeah. It turns out houses are really hard to pay for in cash for most of us.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So in the local housing market, it's been a good January and February. Okay. Numbers have been higher year over year, which is good. We are seeing a little bit of a slowdown as rates have ticked back up. People aren't quite as aggressive as they had been, but I still got a bunch of people sitting in the wings. They've been kind of waiting for spring to get here, both buyers and sellers. So we're here at the beginning of March. I think that we're about to see stuff just slingshot. It may not be as busy as I think all of us maybe had hoped it would be. And like you said, analysts have been predicting 2024 to be like the recovery year. Yeah. Don't necessarily see that to be the case, but I think we're going to hopefully see we're going to be in a position to where the market's going to start moving in a comfortable direction where both buyers and sellers are feeling good. So on the buyer side, still the name of the game, we've talked about this multiple times in the past. It's just have your numbers in order, get clarity around these questions that we've talked about today. As a buyer, that's really, really important for you so that you can come into this to be successful, so that you can, when it's the right time to go all in on something, you can pull the trigger to do that. We will be facing some more competitive situations for buyers. I'm already hearing of people who are having some multiple offer situations. For sellers, same deal. Pricing your house for what the market will support is critical. If you're overpricing, it's going to sit on the market, almost no question. If you're still like married to the emotional relationship of the 2021, early 22 housing market, where you could put your house above list price or above market price and expect to get a bunch of offers, you can forget about it. That's not going to happen. So you need to have your stuff together. You need to have an agent working through for you and with you that's going to get you really great comps to help you price and approach your pricing strategy in a way that's going to lead to success. So those things really never change, but they're really, really critical this year because it's going to be tighter. The margins aren't going to be as wild on, I think, purchase prices, list prices versus contract prices, et cetera.
Okay. And from what I'm reading, I mean, appreciation is still way up. So, yes. I mean, you're not going to, it's like you said, sell over ask normally, but you're still going to make money if you've been in a house for years.
100%. Yeah. I mean, if you bought your house a year or two ago, probably not the time to sell. But unless life is just dictating that for you, you got to move out of town, et cetera. Like I'm literally in the next week going to be listing a house in Reunion, which is a neighborhood here in our area. If you're watching from out of our area, that we literally closed on the house less than a year ago, and it's going back on the market because they're moving out of town. And so there's situations like that. It's probably not ideal for them as a seller, but if you've been in a house a while and you got the itch to sell, make a move, you can still do it really successfully and make some money. Analysts are predicting they changed their prediction. When we came into the year, they were thinking it would be like a fairly flat growth rate on appreciation year over year, but they've pushed it up to where they're thinking anywhere from like 3 to 5% appreciation, which is right in line with historical norms. If you look back over the last 60 years, the rate of appreciation on houses is 4% year over year, almost dead on. You see the curve. So be looking for that. We're in a good, headed into a good market, even though it's going to be a little slower than what I think most people were anticipating coming into this year. So
awesome. Yeah, and on my end, I think the same thing. You know, we're carrying a lot of momentum right now. March looks huge for us. January and February were decent compared to other years. They were actually, good. And it's just questionable on where we head from here. And a lot of it will depend on the Fed meeting in March. Almost everyone is saying they will not lower the Fed rate, which always remember the Fed rate does not directly correlate to mortgage rates, but right now they are bouncing off of each other because they are both influenced by inflation. So, it kind of depends on what happens in March with the Fed on my end.
Yeah. Hopefully it'll be good, but everyone temper your expectations. So
that's right.
Adam, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, real easy to find. Cell phone number is 601-540-0302, or you can reach me at ablack@firstcommercialbk.com. Find me on all social. Just search for Adam Black Mortgage, and you'll find me. Put out a ton of content. Love responses, love comments. Just let me know what you need. What about you?
Well, I just like to say, I hope you all feel loved. Like, he won't even give me his cell phone number. So congratulations, viewers. You can find me at the.richprice on Instagram. That's where I spend most of my time whittling away my life. I guess cell phone number 601-927-2030. Hit me up there. If you get a chance, as all the professional podcasters say, smash that like button. Like, follow, subscribe, tune in for more. We appreciate you guys being a part of this. Thanks a lot.
Absolutely.